my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in January. Honestly, January was a long month, very hectic, and not a great reading month for me. Not because of the quantity of books that I read, but the quality. I felt like I was going more for distractions rather than books that I was really anticipating because I didn't want to read them during a busy month. But I did read 3 books in January, and I enjoyed all 3 of them, but just they were nothing that I think I'll remember a decade from now. But let's talk about the 3 books that I read in January. The first book I completed was Caroline. I think I actually started this one like the last day of December or something like that. I'm not sure. But the first book I completed was, am I saying the name right? Because I remember that she's always correcting the guy.
I didn't know if I was supposed to say something.
Yeah, because I know I say it wrong. I say it like the guy, don't it? Like the man upstairs.
Yes.
Alright, so he says Caroline. So it's Coraline.
Yes.
Coraline. I knew I was doing it wrong. Okay. So the first book I read was Coraline. That was written by Neil Gaiman, I think. And it was originally published in July 2022. If I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the details on my laptop, because who in their right mind is going to remember all of that, and I'm not re-recording this multiple times, so yeah. Anyway, the genre of this book is a dark fantasy horror children's book. Something cool I found out about, well, not cool, interesting I found out, is that apparently Caroline was allegedly, I say allegedly because I don't know if it's true, banned in some countries for being too scary or something like that, and that's just weird. So if I'm looking over here, I'm looking at my laptop. If I'm looking over here, I'm looking at Edmond. Next is, it does have a few adaptations. It was originally released as a novel, and then it was adapted into a graphic novel, and then into a movie that was a stop motion picture. Yeah. And I also watched the movie after I read the book, which I'll compare to the book briefly in a minute. But if you never heard of Coraline, which is Coraline, if you've never heard of Coraline, right?
Sorry.
Coraline?
Coraline.
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 Coraline, yes.
Coraline. If you've never heard of Coraline, which is probably kind of criminal because I think it's one of the most famous children's horror book. It's well, I'm gonna read directly from what the description on Goodreads is. When Coraline steps through a door in her family's new house, she finds another house strangely similar to her own, only better. At first, things seems marvelous. The food is better than at home, and the toy box is filled with fluttering, wind-up angels and dinosaurs. You would think I'm not a reader based on how I'm struggling, right? Anyway. Where was I? But there was another mother there and another father, and they wanted her to stay and be their little girl. They want to change her and never let her go. That's a part of what's on Goodreads as the description. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was spooky, fun, and I listened to the audiobook, which was narrated by the author himself, which I think added an extra bit of just kind of, it felt real, maybe because the author can definitely imagine how they want things to be heard. So it was fun listening to it read by him. The narration was engaging and really good. I think I definitely would have given this a 5 star if I had read it while I was a child. It is a children's book, but as an adult, I don't know if it's because I'm an adult, but the only reason why it got 4 stars instead of 5 stars was because sometimes Coraline was kind of annoying, which I don't know why. But overall, I enjoyed the book. It was spooky, and the entire theme was kind of interesting and really fun to read. And of course, my favorite character was the cat. I feel like everybody's favorite character should be the cat. But after that, I watched the movie with Edmond. I hated the movie. I don't know why, but the movie just felt so flat. It just didn't feel as good. And plus, I think in the movie they made her parents a lot more likable, and in the books her parents were total shitheads and just neglectful and annoying and no redeeming quality in my opinion. I kind of wanted her to go with the other mother, but in the movie there wasn't anything that made them too extremely unlikable, so I didn't really enjoy the movie as much as the book, which I feel like is generally the case with adaptations, so no surprise there. And that was the first book that I read this month, or last month since it's now February. The second book that I completed in January is Next of Kin, and after reading it and doing the rating on Goodreads, I found out that it was actually a series, but it seems to be, don't quote me on this, but it seems to be like a, there's a word for it, but I don't remember. But it's a companion series where it is a book series, but it doesn't necessarily follow the same characters. That's what I think it is, but I'm not sure. If that's the case, then I'll definitely be reading the rest of the books. If it is following the same characters, I'm not sure I'll be reading it, not because it was bad, but let's just get into the review. So Next of Kin was written by Hannah Young, and it was released in May of 2022. It's a contemporary romance, and the book synopsis is: when people-pleasing Chloe learns that her birth mother has unexpectedly had another baby, she doesn't hesitate to become a next of kin guardian. But when she fails to pass Child Protective Services financial evaluation, she is faced with a choice: see her baby sister placed in foster care or participate in CPS's new initiative, Team Up. Enter Warren, a surely, sorry, what?
Surely.
How did you know it was that?
I can tell you exactly what you're trying to say.
Okay, because I surely that don't make any sense. Surely it doesn't. A surly mechanics apprentice attempting to get custody of his deaf 15-year-old brother after failing CPS's housing evaluation. The two strangers immediately clash, but agree to live together until Warren can find housing elsewhere and Chloe can further grow her freelance career. That backdrop was the entire reason why I wanted to read the book. When I saw it, the cover was cute, as you can see. It's a cute romance cover. Romance is my favorite genre. But when I read, which I don't normally do by the way, but I did read the synopsis of this one, and I was like, okay, this seemed like quite an interesting backdrop for a romance novel, so I was intrigued and I enjoyed reading it. I gave it 3.5 stars. On Goodreads I gave it 3 because they don't have half stars, but I would give it 3.5 stars because it was fun, it was enjoyable. I listened to the audiobook and it was a good distraction. I listened to it for the most of January, and it was really fun. However, the only 2 reasons why it didn't get like a 5-star is because the ending, it felt kind of flat for me, and also the I love yous, it felt a bit rushed. It's a short novel. It's, I think, was 6 hours long maybe in audiobook, and like 250 something pages, and it just, I don't know, it didn't feel like right when they started saying I love you, so that kind of irritated me in the last half of the book. But outside of that, it's a really enjoyable. If someone wanted a quick contemporary romance to read for fun, I would recommend it, but it's not life changing. I probably won't remember the details of it in a couple of months. But what I did love about it, as I said, was the backdrop. It was quite unique, and also the representation was, it wasn't overtly done, but it was well done. It was nice to have different representation in the background. You don't always have to make it the point of the story, but his brother being disabled, of course, and one of her friends being transgender, and I think there was a person of color, I'm not sure if they were black, and yeah, it was just fun to read. It didn't feel forced, it just felt real, and that's my review. The last book that I read was really just a part of my research into fibromyalgia, because I was diagnosed with it last year, and I've since been doing some research, and this is the first book that I read on it, and it's called Fibromyalgia: A Guide to Understanding and Managing Fibromyalgia. After about 10 years of searching, 10 years of going to the doctor, 10 years of trying to figure out what is wrong with me, finally a sensible diagnosis was added to the list of other things that's wrong with me, and that's fibromyalgia. This book I gave 5 stars. Normally once I finish a non-fiction book, I'll give it a 5-star. Not necessarily because I am saying the content is good, because clearly I'm not a medical practitioner. I don't know if any other content is true or makes sense, but I gave it 5 stars because A, I was able to complete it, so clearly it wasn't so bad that I wanted to put it down, and 2, I enjoyed it enough to continue on with my research, because most non-fiction books that I read are as a part of a research, and I felt like it served a purpose in my end goal, so I just simply give it a 5-star once I'm able to finish it. So to give you a quick definition of what fibromyalgia is and a portion of the synopsis from Goodreads of the book, fibromyalgia is a chronic disorder that is believed to affect the nerve endings, causing a person to experience abnormal pain, perception, processing. This condition has no known cure, but the symptoms can be managed by doctors and other health professionals through medication, as well as a variety of alternative treatment methods. That's what fibromyalgia is. I've heard of it before being diagnosed with it, but it wasn't something like I knew a lot about. So I'm just trying to learn more now. What else? That's it. I would definitely recommend people who have fibromyalgia or people who know someone with the disorder to read this book or something similar to it, so they'll have a better understanding of what it is, because apparently a lot of people think it's fake, which is kind of weird to think something somebody else have is fake. I know there's no known cause, so it's kind of iffy and up in the air and seems like a miscellaneous diagnosis that they just give to people. That's what a lot of people argue, but a lot of things were like that at one point before we find the scientific cause of them. So to completely dismiss something that somebody is clearly experiencing is kind of stupid, for lack of a better word. And it's important to educate yourself, so I'm probably going to be trying to read one book on something each month. I'll probably definitely start with the things that I find more important to me, that may affect me or the people around me, but I would love to eventually branch off into just reading on things that will widen my perspective and understanding of people that I may meet. And that's it. Those are the 3 books that I read in January. I suppose it was a good reading month. I didn't hate any other books, but also I didn't particularly love any other books. I don't think I found my favorite read of this year as yet, but we have 11 more months to go. But usually, oddly, I normally read my favorite book in January. Yeah, every year from like 2020, I've read my favorite book in January, but not this year, so I guess the other months have a chance this time. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you stay till the end, please tell me what you read in January and what you're currently reading. I'm definitely going to be doing a video on what I plan to read in February. Maybe, don't hold me to it because I usually don't keep my promises, but I'll try. And that's it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.